All right, welcome to Season 3 signing day, Season 4 schedule release. You've got all four of us at one time, which I don't know the last time we've all been on camera together or even in the VC on a stream, so it's been quite a while. But yeah, Pars still commissioner, so any thoughts before we go into this?
Commissioner for all that it means, all right? Don't do anything without you guys. But thoughts going into this, extremely excited to see where everyone's at. Being the commissioner, I still haven't even looked at everybody to see what recruiting classes you guys ended up with. I know numbers, but that's it. I don't know anything about anything. So I'm excited to see it, and then the schedule release is going to be great.
Yeah, so I've got a spreadsheet. I don't know what I'm looking at, so Gage will go over through that as I scroll. So I guess we just
Yeah, so basically this is the tops, 69 people that signed in the 20 or the season 3 class for this for the RFCL. Now this is only people that were 100% scouted by their coaches, so like absolutely I don't think who else is not on there. I think UIU has like one person on there, and they're only on there because another team had their player 100% scouted. So, anyway, as you can see, there's a bunch of people not on there. Top 10 players, Georgetown has the number one overall in the Alex Dunn, the middle linebacker, 85 overall. JSU with the number 2 player, Fernandez. He was a JUCO transfer. Something I found interesting was the top 3 are all linebackers. The top 5 are all defense, and then 4 of the next 5 are all offensive linemen. So you can kind of see who got what. Lots of defensive guys going to UCO with Saul Goodman and Albright. Lake Erie stacked up on offensive guys, a tackle, a center, a fullback, and then JSU is mostly all defense. DN, corner, middle linebacker, outside linebacker. Montana sneaks in there with a good, strong safety. Joe, if you scroll down for me a little bit.
Gerald's currently fighting a war in the YouTube chat.
I'm scrolling. I don't know where you want me to go.
I haven't even read it yet. I'll read the chat in a minute. Mason, it is actually correct because, like I said, this is only people that were 100% scouted. So, going on, you got Georgetown, another corner, cracks top 25. JSU with a D tackle up there. Lake Erie with a corner. Washington, UCO with another corner. Lots of defensive guys on this list. Montana with another secondary player in Wright. UCO back to back with athlete and a middle linebacker. Gerald, do you know what that athlete ended up Bob Star?
That is a running back.
Oh.
Okay. Yeah. So another thing to note here is you can look at the stars of a player, but it doesn't necessarily reflect what their overall would be. You got 5-star running back that's 73 overall. I know there's another guy out there that was a 4-star running back who was like in the 60s overall. Once he gets 100 scouted, you've got again another corner for UCA. They've cracked the list finally at number 26. You've got Georgetown again with an outside backer. Lake Erie coming in again in kind of a third or 3 in a row. Montana on there with a halfback, a tackle, a strong safety, Douglas the athlete. And now we're all kind of getting the bottom barrel of the players. So still guys that people were able to sign. But just with the way the current rosters are, I don't see a lot of these guys really ever playing the field. Speaking on my behalf with Price and Noyatala for like my wide receiver, he's not going to play unless somebody gets hurt. And then we got Terrell and Lufasa. Those guys, they'll never see the field at 58 overall for JSU. Lake Erie, they're unfortunately all of their guys are kind of bottom barrel in terms of the signing class. But if it fits a need for their roster, that's all that matters. UCO, another 6 guys showing up there. UCA with 2, Montana with 1. So I don't know if we'll see a lot of these guys listed here at 47 through 69 make their way onto the field this year, but it is possible, and it'll be kind of neat to always go back and look at this, 3 years down the line and just kind of see who's here and who's not. So
Let me tell you what, if you true scout a person all the way through and then sign a 45 overall guy, I don't know what you're doing. But obviously, it's helping out your team in some sort of way.
You would hope so. Signing a 45 overall on your roster.
Dude, I saw that.
Yeah, I mean, I really hope that was just you offered,
Yeah.
he just shows up. Not you actually put everything into him.
So, I mean, obviously, we don't see a lot of teams on here. This is, again, 100% scouted. We don't see UConn on here, App State on here. There's just some teams that can learn the ways of scouting. But when we go to the boards, which we're going to see shortly, you'll see those teams, and we'll go over everybody else's signees. Those are just the top 69 guys.
Yeah, I mean, unless Blake's got anything in the bottom right, we'll move on to everyone's class.
now these classes are the official.
Yeah.
Like, sorry, to cut you off. But real quick, these classes that we're about to go over are again the official game rated classes. So we'll go in order, drill, just to make it easier. Number 1, then 2, 3. So, and again, caliber is correct, but we 5 stars, 5 overall, and we've seen 5 stars with 67 overall. So, it doesn't caliber in terms of stars doesn't necessarily reflect overall, but just the class itself is calculated based on average stars or based on the stars in the game. So,
Blake.
Is this the news segment, or do we need to wait till after?
I don't know. It's
Don't leave it to me.
let's wait.
we can do it
Yeah.
after signing day stuff.
I have been getting a lot of buzz on Twitter and a bunch of DMs.
Okay.
Towards the end of the stream, we probably need to go and address it.
Blake is real quiet. Okay, hold on. All right. With that being said, the 19th overall class in the entire league, if you want to say, based on the game, but number 1 in the RFCL. I need to change my input. There we go. App State signed the number 1 class. They had a total of 19 players. As we scrolled through this, 1 5-star. I think that's 7 4-stars or 6 4-stars. But yeah, just a solid class. Hodges, I can't see their full name. 5-star defensive tackle for App State, who probably doesn't need a lot more defensive tackles. They have plenty that are good, but thoughts from the rest of you?
So I will say right now, I did attempt to go after Mr. Black in the beginning. They had a sizable lead, so pulled out Money Grant, the athlete. I put in a lot of points for, thinking that maybe, just maybe, I could have a shot at him. Obviously, they got the 3-star athlete that I really liked. I like this class. Some busts and some hits, which is going to be everything. But with 19 people and being the highest rated class, I'm a fan.
Yeah, unfortunately for us, this wasn't pay to win like it was in the past, but it is what it is. But yeah, good class for App State. I'm curious to see kind of how many of these guys are immediate impacts, how many guys come in and kind of wait their turn. You got Black and Morris, they're wide receivers, and I know App State has a loaded wide receiver room already. So we'll see. Like I said, I'm curious to see how soon we see all these guys on the field.
Yeah, and with App State, they really killed it early on with IRL recruits before we did Dynasty. So they've always been the team with high overalls. And they just, it translated over into Dynasty. Just, next man up is always going to be someone better than who everyone else has got. So they just bolstered their class and maintained to keep getting elite athletes.
Yeah. I don't know what their needs were, and I only know the needs that, for my team. But I would assume all these 4 or 5 stars were pretty crucial to what App State needed going forward. But with that being said, the number 20 overall class,
Jeez.
and number 2 RFCL is UCO. 2 5 stars, 3 if you count Saul Goodman, but he's obviously not listed here. 3 4 stars, and the rest of the 3 stars, with 21 players total for UCO. But yeah, highest overall player for my team was Harris, the athlete who turned into a running back. But yeah, thoughts from the rest of you?
I hate it with every grain of my body. I hate it. Also, that guy's name is insane. That middle linebacker. Please never start him.
This one?
But,
Never the 8th guy.
McKivitz. You guys absolutely smashed it out of the park with Harris coming in. Was that the running back we looked at the other day?
Yes.
Hitting stuff I'm not going to talk about.
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah, big fan of it. I know you guys got a couple running backs, a couple corners. You really filled a need here with Selesker being gone.
Yeah, we actually lost our 1 and 2. So I think when I looked, we have all freshmen and 1 senior on our as running back. So it'll be interesting going into next season. But Gage or Blake, thoughts?
I find it kind of interesting that you're signing 3 middle linebackers. Maybe if you're running a 3-4 scheme or 4-4 or something, but that'll work out for you. But one of those guys feeling is going to be hurt come fall at least. Other than that, I mean, 4 middle linebackers. Let's say another one down there too.
Well, let's put it this way: linebackers were a very big need. We had everyone graduate as linebackers, so we needed a lot, as you can see.
Yeah, it's a pretty solid class. One thing I think I've noticed in it was no quarterback. I know you do have a Star Weasley and you also have MT3, but after those 2 leave, I kind of expected to see UCO target maybe a quarterback in this class, try to get somebody in to, learn the offense and kind of learn from those 2 guys. But is that something we could possibly see next year, maybe in the recruiting class, Caleb?
I would think so. I think we are going to go after one. We have quarterbacks for the next 2 seasons, so we felt pretty good about that. Yeah. 3rd overall signing class, I apparently forgot to do something. As Gage and Blake and Pars are watching me do this right now. There we go. Third overall class, number 48 in the entire league, is going to be Lake Erie. No 5 stars, 2 4 stars, and a ton of 3 stars. Total of 20 players. But, one that stands out, a 6'7" wide receiver as a 4-star. So
6'8", 286, 6'6", 294.
Yeah.
If they get a short quarterback, we may never see him.
Well, they did. They get a quarterback, a 6-foot quarterback.
Bartholomew.
Yeah. So
it's my dog's name.
My takeaways from this class for Lake Erie. I mean, we knew early on. I think Lake Erie was the first team to actually get a commit, and they got 2, both offensive linemen. Both turned out to be pretty good, like mid-70s overall, I think. So Lake Erie, on the flip side of that, I think they had 10 of the last 20 in the bottom tier of the 100% scouted players. So they may not be a great team this year just in terms of young talent, but if they redshirt basically this whole class or half this class, let them develop a little bit, Lake Erie could be something serious the next 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, they went for giants. They went how the Colts do and just athletes, massive athletes. So Fry, no idea how good he is, but he looks insane at 6'7", 215. Don't know, like you said, don't know how tall Joey is back there at quarterback, but he might be scared to hit a couple of his guys in the back of the helmet for football. They look good. Like you said, they were a little low, but I mean, where's that 45 overall kid? That's all I want to see.
Do we know who it is? I don't remember the name.
It's Flott.
Flott. I really, really wish it was Fry. It would have been
What?
hilarious. It would have been hilarious. But
Well,
it's the 7th Flott,
I
the
mean,
3-round running back.
it's the highest running back for Lake Erie, according to Stars.
So Lathan and Hood are both 78 overall. Jackson, the fullback, is 77. Then Washington, the corner, is 75. Those are all top 20. So Lake Erie has 4 in the top 20.
Nice.
Yeah, so
I'm
interesting.
a fan.
Best running back for Lake Erie is probably the worst player in the entire signing class. But yeah, I mean, you would think so. But the number 4 overall class, it's going to be the Jacksonville State Gamecocks. Gage coming back, coaching them after a 1 year off. So Gage, I'll let you take this away.
Yeah, first off, 100% credit to Viking and Martin. Hell of a recruiting class. Not necessarily in terms of talent. Like I said earlier, like there's a lot of guys that just may not see the field, essentially, just because of the depth we already have. But they went out and they got the pieces we needed. I think we returned 8 of 11 on offense. We lose like a running back, a wide receiver, and an offensive lineman. As you can see, our number 3 player is a guard. We've already got a running back that we redshirted last year, wide receiver, Caribbean, I don't know, Caribbean something. He's up there. So on the flip side of that, we lose a backer, we lose 2 corners. We signed 3 corners, all with 90-plus man coverage, 89-plus zone. So not necessarily a great class. It is 4th in the league, obviously. So, top half of the league is where you want to be. But we went out, and Martin went and grabbed the pieces we would need to be successful going forward, plug and play type of guys. So I'm excited about it.
Yeah, you talk about top 4 classes. We have still yet to see the 2 teams that play the national championship up here, which is
That's what happens when you go That's what happens when you go scorched earth on your entire recruiting class after your top guy goes to UNC.
Yeah, but Blake Parr's thoughts on this one?
Big fan. I mean, anytime I see a corner named Smoke, I love it. Can't wait to see him out there on the field at 5'11", 183. Nice little corner right there, height and weight. Other than that, Brown Stevens, defensive end, 4-star. I don't know if he's your best guy based on overall, but definitely the only 4-star. I like this class. It's the fourth in the league, which means something, right? I mean, I'm a fan of it. You never know what's going to happen with these kids coming in from high school.
Yeah, it's Jacksonville just signed a really good overall class. I think they filled a bunch of positions, got a bunch of good 2s. It's just one of those classes where you can't see anything negative.
Yeah.
The thing I'm excited about most is I'm actually, like I said, I signed 3 corners, all with 89-plus man and zone, 75-plus overalls. All 3 of them will be redshirted this year. So I've got enough depth there to redshirt all 3 of those guys and then still get a full 4 years out of them. So that's what I'm most excited about.
Fantastic.
Yeah, with that, the number 5 class, probably one that potentially many weren't expecting to see at this point. Coach Blake's Montana Grizzlies at number 5. So Blake, this team has had I don't know how many coaches at this point come in, but you're able to land the number 5 class in the entire league.
Yeah, so it was just one of those things where coming back, I didn't expect to be even in the top 6, 7 of the league, but we got back and we got a lot of people to buy in, and it may be a lot of 3-stars right there, but we did end up with a couple gems in this class, a couple guys that maybe some people thought to not look at, but after looking at them a little bit, they ended up being stellar athletes. Just didn't come from places or anywhere where you'd expect to look, but I do believe that we signed a strong safety that is in the top of the strong safeties. A couple guys that's just, may look low tier, but in terms of attributes, pretty high. So I'm pretty happy with what we got coming in, considering the caliber that we are and the success, not been that great over here, but we had a couple guys that want to come and compete. But yeah, I mean, just in my opinion, the class is pretty solid overall. It may be all 3 stars, but I think we got what we needed. We really needed some depth at the corner position. Obviously, if you take a look at Montana right now, I think we went to the local frat house whenever Zach was the head coach and said, "Hey guys, come hop on the team." So I think we've got what we needed, and maybe if we win a little bit more, we'll get the eye of a little bit bigger caliber athlete.
Gage or Parse?
Man, I'll tell you what, I think Blake took all my time. However, I saw you yawn, Caleb. No, I'm kidding. So, honestly, when you come back to the team, you're not expecting the greatest overall class based off what happened at Montana last year. Let's be honest, it was a dumpster fire. So when you come in and you're able to get it to where it is now, I feel like that's a great showing towards the back end by Coach Mart and whoever was in charge of that team and who was in charge of recruiting. That's great on them. Way to get it done. We'll see how they do next year.
Gage?
Yeah, really good class there for Montana. I mean, Blake, let's be honest here. You're taking over a rebuild project, so I'm not expecting you to come out and win the national championship in season 4, no offense. But I think you've got a solid first class there to help your little project.
I agree with you.
All right. That brings us to the number 6 overall class. The runners-up in the RFCL of Season 3, Connecticut's 67th overall, 6th in the RFCL. Obviously, Coach Pars is here, so Pars, take this away.
Look, like I said, I went complete scorched earth policy here. All right. As soon as we lost our big guy, I wasn't happy with what I had, so I fixed everything late. Went after a bunch of low lot guys. I'm very happy with a few of these guys. Herzog's no good, but Brazil Bush is a freshman prospect, good speed. He's a 75 overall kid. Wasn't expecting that. Miles Garvin, the 3-star middle linebacker, the JUCO kid, fantastic. He starts right away on this team, 83 overall. Ballard comes in, plays corner. Will Moore is actually a 77 overall corner with 90 man. So if we go down to the best player in this class, go down to 1-stars. The best player in this class is number 18, Patrick Smith. An insane free safety, 1-star guy. He was a gym. He went up 13 overall to 83 overall. He's got 94 speed. He's absolutely insane. Love to have him. He wears a neck pad in the scrim I just played. He's going to kill people. I love this class. We don't need the biggest of best class. I'm bringing back every for this season. So next season's got to go hard. This season I did what I needed to do.
Blake?
Pars did what he usually does and keeps very all-around players. He doesn't ever have a bad player at any position. So, and it goes to his recruiting that he was able to go out and find somebody no one could look at and find a lot of talent. So it was a very solid class. Surprised that he's behind Montana, even though I'll take it. But it's still a very solid class.
Gage, any thoughts on this?
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest thing for Pars is, like he said, he returns a lot of guys, so he didn't really need to go out and sign the number 1 class in the league or anything like that. He got what he needed to get. He'll plug and play the guys he needs to, and it should all be uphill from there. Hopefully he can maybe come away with a national championship this year. So.
I got a runner-up banner at UConn. Although I will say, because a Raider just said it, if Jomo came to UConn, the whole league was put on notice. That kid had 99 man coverage. Insane.
All right, with that, we're going to move to the number 7 class, number 77 overall. Central Arkansas finished 3-5 on the season, led by Coach Bucky, but only 13 people in their class, 2 4-stars, and the rest went out with 3 stars. And yet they still didn't have to cut anyone; they were actually under. So, thoughts, guys.
Yeah, when you talk about that, they're under, right? They have 66 out of 70 people. So obviously they needed a big class. Came away with 13 people. I'm not sure about overalls. I'm not sure about the class. If you're plugging and playing, if you feel what you need, you're good to go. But to come away with a roster not even completed because you couldn't get enough people, that's insane.
be signing 13 people in general is insane. But the fact that you signed, what would that be? 20%, 15% of your class is 4 stars. That's impressive,
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, let me pull up my sheet real quick. They had a couple of guys full scouted. So DeQuano, the strong safety, and Barrett, the tackle, both 78 plus overalls, both top 6 in the league. Ledette, the corner, is a 73. He's 26th. Hanson, the D tackle, is 32nd, 71. Everyone else is below 70. So, not bad there for UCA, especially having 2 guys in the top 6 of full scouted players. And UCA, they're sneaky. Sometimes they don't look that good. Sometimes they look like world beaters. So who knows what we're gonna get out of UCA.
Yeah. We'll see what UCA does with this and the revamped divisions. We really haven't talked about that a lot. Some of these teams won't play each other anymore, just depending on the division. Which we'll see that later. But with that being said, number 8's in the RFCL.
Yeah, Blake's at Montana. He doesn't get anything to say about UCA.
What? What is...
You skipped him.
Oh, my bad, Blake. Anything you can say on that?
UCA, great job, great class.
Okay. Well, let's see. Let's put it this way. Blake Scott doesn't. Let's put it this way. He doesn't like UCA. Let's just be real. Despises them. So that's probably pretty bad what I was going to say. Anyway, number 8 class, number 90 overall in the RFCL. Upper Iowa lands at number 8. 17 players for them, and just a interesting class. They get a quarterback. They had a lot of quarterback problems throughout the season, so maybe they're trying to address that. Coach Neek's returning, taking over for Verse after a season. 1 4-star, 9 3 stars and 2 1 stars to fill it out. But thoughts? They have a 276-pound guard down here. Thoughts overall.
I'll be honest with you. The fact that they were able to sign 17 people in general is absurd. They fired their recruiting coordinator halfway through the season. I don't know if they even offered a scholarship until week number, probably the last week of the season, if I'm being honest with you. So the fact they put together this class, hats off to Sneak.
I mean, fun fact, this is probably 10 more recruits than they got through 3 seasons. So fantastic out of them. When you bring in Brock Osweiler to play your backup quarterback, though, you're looking like it's not going to be very good. So just can't wait to see what they're able to do. I know I'm making a lot of jest. However, Barry's there. I'm hoping this team does well. I like the class. No receivers, which scares me. But other than that, we're bringing in guards. That team needs line help.
Yeah, and a pistol-heavy team, bringing in a very solid tight end and bolstering that offensive line, I think that really fits what they needed.
Upper Iowa. Again, we don't really know what their team needs were. We didn't really look. So we assume they addressed as much as they could of those said team needs, but we'll see, I guess, in a couple weeks when we start the season. At number 9, number 9 overall class, 107th the entire league, is Georgetown, champions of the East, lost to Northwest Missouri State in the semifinals, but signed a total of 19 people and had a couple 4 stars. One obviously led by Dunn, the middle linebacker. As listed on that spreadsheet, best overall player in the class. Thoughts overall from you guys?
I guess I'll throw this out there. I think Georgetown made a mistake. They we could use this term. They turned on or turned off the recruit assist, but then they just kind of were MIA in recruiting for a little bit of the season, so I think that really hurt them. They tried making up for it in the end. They ended up with a couple good pieces, but for them to be the caliber team that they are, I wasn't expecting class.
Bars.
Yeah, I mean, look, I had Ibukun Okioto pretty much almost fully scouted. Good corner. I believe he had upper 90s for zone, 80s for man. Good corner, just slow. So I pulled off of him and went Patrick Smith when I scouted him. But they got the number one guy for the 100% scouted people. They went after a few people that Caleb and I were going after, a guard in particular that went elsewhere. So they did attempt. I mean, they went all in on a few people. And honestly, I don't mind the class as long as a bunch of those 1-stars are worth a darn. If those guys are worth anything, this is a pretty good class.
Gage.
My takeaway is if you look at it, from the people they had 100% scouted, from the number 1 overall on their board to the number 2 overall on their board is a 12 overall drop-off. So, could that be good? Could that be bad? Could it not mean anything? I don't know. But it is something to at least keep an eye on.
With that, we're going to round out the active teams signing classes. The champions of Season 3 are last. They are the number 121st overall class, number 10 in the RFCL. Only 9 people total. They bring in a 4-star quarterback. You know, they had problems with Vince Young throughout the season. They kind of went away from him during the playoffs. It was a run-heavy team, but only 9 players for the defending champions.
Insane. When you're the defending champions, you're expecting a bunch of people. I mean, obviously, their season didn't go very well when we were recruiting. They lost a bunch of games. They might have lost a bunch of points towards people. I can tell you right now that Hinningham guy is not very good. I was looking at him. But, I don't think they're going to have a Vince Young problem anymore. So it's really just going to be, can this team progress past where they were? Can they not look in the rear view and continue to move forward? I don't think they lost anybody, to be completely honest with you. Their roster looks almost exactly the same. So I think they're fine.
That might be part of the reason they didn't sign very much. They still had to cut people and cut quite a bit. So yeah. I don't know if they lost as much. They didn't bring in as many, and they only brought in stuff they'd be okay with having extra, but, don't really need. But Gage and Blake, any thoughts?
Yeah, my takeaway is Rutherford Lewis actually talked to Kearnsey in the offseason about his recruiting approach, and something that I heard through the grapevine was Kearnsey didn't full scout a single player. He didn't even half scout a single player. He truly just went after guys, and he's going to find out what they're all about when they show up for fall camp. So, interesting approach. Signing 9 people is also interesting. But like Pars mentioned, he didn't want to bring in a bunch of guys just to have to cut them all anyway. So he didn't need to sign a big class either.
Yeah, like you said, Gage, already having that much depth on your team, they really didn't see the recruiting cycle this year worth much to them. So, it could be just part of it. But they had too many people on their team, didn't see anybody that they saw worth signing.
Yeah. Well, with that brings us to the end of the Season 3 teams. But Season 4 teams, the 2 new ones still recruited, not by the coaches, by the CPU, and they did sign some people. So the number 11th class and the 124th overall class is going to be Northwestern State's, now led by Coach Orff. And they signed, I believe it or not, more than Northwest Missouri State, 14 people. And as Orff wanted me to point out, they signed 3 fullbacks, all the same heights, and all 1-stars.
Listen, fantastic work out of the people that were stepping in for Orff when he couldn't recruit. Obviously, they knew exactly what they were doing. 3 fullbacks, they knew exactly how Orff wanted to run his offense. It's going to be pro style up the middle. He's going to use all 3 of those fullbacks greatly. But let's talk about how they beat Space Force. Nobody wants to be astronauts. I'm very confused. But I don't know what to make of this class at all.
Gage or Blake?
I'll be honest with you. I can't have a takeaway for a roster I know nothing about, especially when none of these guys were full scouted to my knowledge. So I'm just going to plead the fifth on this one, I guess.
Blake?
Let's just move on to Space Force.
Blake wasn't a full
not a class I know too much about, so I agree we need to move on to the next.
Okay.
Sorry, Blake. So you muted.
last overall class, number 12. Everyone knows who it is. 125th overall. So both these teams did actually beat someone. Florida Atlantic needs to figure it out. I don't know what they're doing. But yeah, Space Force, number 12, 125th. 12 guys, so still signed more than Northwest Missouri State. They have 5 4-stars. One's a quarterback, a couple wide receivers. They also signed 2 fullbacks. But again, it's probably pretty similar. We really don't know anything about the roster, so we have no idea whether or not this is going to work. But I think the key thing is they didn't lose anyone from their current rosters. They had no seniors, so they didn't have the cup people. So I don't know how much these guys are going to play.
I like the look of a 6'4", 200-pound receiver. I mean, I like the look of it a lot, but you have no idea if he's any good.
Yeah, 6'3", 233, outside backer, 6'1", 225, middle linebacker. 6'3", 295, 6'5", 270, tackles. You've got the size, but can they play?
Oh, never mind, he can't play. The 6'4", 200-pound wide receiver's got 55 catching. He will never see a single snap in his life.
Blake?
Just some big dudes. We don't know much about their tangibles, but some really big dudes. That might be what Barack was going for. But, doesn't look like a bad class. Don't know too much about them, but we'll find out next season.
Yeah. With that, that's all 12 classes going into
Should have looked
season
at Florida
4.
Atlantic.
I mean, we
we
can see what they're doing. It's not.
What are they doing?
They have 15 people. I don't know. They have no 4-stars, so that's probably what it is. Now they're just Space Force, so I don't know. Wait. Yeah, that's right. Anyway, that's all that we got for recruiting. I think Blake did say he had some news, so we'll go over there in just a second to see, some breaking news in the RFCL. It's not.
All right, guys.
Hold on.
There we go. Okay, tell me when to go.
Please tell me that's like a YouTube breaking news video.
Okay, so as most of you know, I do the breaking news on Fridays, but this could not wait for Friday. As I said in chat, I got a call from Rutherford. It's probably one of the biggest stories, in my opinion, RFCL season. It's a tragedy, but also another starting point for this guy. Maybe a tragedy for this other, but I'll get to it. As we all know, Raider has left UConn. Very successful. We have no understanding or reason why he left. We might have to reach out to him, but he does have a landing spot. And to no surprise, he will be joining UCO with Coach Gerald and Coach Wad. Pretty elite team now, I guess we could say. Everyone has a very good track record. So if UCO wasn't good enough, they're even greater now. But that's it, guys. Thank you, Rutherford, for the information, and back to you guys.
So yeah, I don't know what happened to my camera up there. It's gone now. That's really good. But yeah. Where the hell did my camera input go? Parge, take it away for just a second while I try to find my camera.
I don't want to say anything. No, listen, back-to-back runner-ups really get to a person. All right? I mean, I had my doubts about seasons coming in, and I've had a hard time with it too, and he just needed to change the scenery, and the one place I told him not to freaking go. But look, love him. He was great with me. He's going to be great over there. He's going to do special things. He really will. But I'm happy with what I've brought in as well. Can't wait to see the new guys run. Congratulations to Raider. Congratulations to UCO. Rich get richer. I wish nothing but the worst.
That's great.
I'm sorry, Brock's comment was just too funny.
What did he do?
I put on Chrome. I put Chrome on my first monitor so we make straight one. It was actually one of our
Oh my
website
God.
pages that has nothing on it right now, so it was literally
That killed me.
all it was.
Uh,
Here, look at my camera, Joe. Ready?
yeah. Oh my god. I don't know what's happening at this point.
Oh my God. Cage just.
Schedule.
I guess that my camera's gone. The entire
No one needs to see you.
shut the hell up. Oh. Okay. Well, that works, I guess.
Hey,
Why does Montana get sanctioned? No, wait, I want to hear this.
Okay. We're back. Why did Montana get sanctioned? I'm down. Anyway, schedule release. This is gonna be pretty simple. I have the Dynasty pulled up that has our future schedule. So we're gonna go to week number 1. Rivalry week. There's a couple new changes to rivals, but first game. Don't worry about the game day and stuff. Jacksonville State heads to Central Oklahoma week 1. Gage and myself play once again. Georgetown heads to Connecticut. It's no longer a conference matchup. It's a rivalry, a non-con. Upper Iowa heads to App State. I think they played last season at this week, so they will continue that. Lake Erie heads to Northwest Missouri State. This was a rivalry game that started last season, and it carries on. Central Arkansas, Montana, probably the most hated rivalry we have in the entire league. And to finish it off, rivalry between the two new teams, Space Force heads to Northwestern. Thoughts on week 1, guys?
Yeah, I mean, look,
See, Blake.
season. Last time I took over, sorry, Caleb just completely messed up my mind.
You're good.
Last season when I take over, my only thing I really wanted from Caleb is for rivalry week to be week 1. We've done it 2 weeks in a row. 2 seasons in a row. Last year I played Montana week 1, absolutely blew them out of the water. Looking to do the same thing against Georgetown this year, but rivalry week should be the biggest week of the season, and I'm happy it's week 1. Let's get everything out there.
Gage?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay. Blake?
yeah, it's just going to be a battle of the Bears. I'm excited to go ahead and drop 60 on the other team and get this little boy talk done with.
All right. With that, it's going to be week 2. I don't even know what's going on anymore. Week 2, new conferences, and a new conference matchup. Central Oklahoma heads to Lake Erie. This is a new division matchup with the realignment. Space Force heads to Connecticut. Space Force's first conference matchup heads to the league runner-up the last 2 seasons. Northwestern State heads to Georgetown. Coach Orff returns to Washington, D.C. to face his former head coach. Northwest Missouri State heads to Jacksonville State as a new conference matchup as well. Kearney versus Gage. App State heads to Central Arkansas week 2. This is probably, I don't really know how to describe this one. A season 2 champion versus Central Arkansas. Then finish off with Upper Iowa at Montana. Coach Zeke will face his former team in week number 2. Thoughts?
Week 2 is just as big as week 1, in my opinion. I really wanted to play Space Force. Glad I do. It's not rivalry week, but it's like your get back week with some coordinators going elsewhere and getting to play that team right away. So it should be exciting to see.
I'm excited to see Space Force and Northwestern State play teams other than themselves. You know what I mean? Like expansion teams playing against teams that have been in the league for 4 years. I'm ready to see what that's going to look like.
Blake?
Yeah, our week 2 opponent is, I wouldn't say the most successful, but it's been a very steady team. They've always put up a good fight about every game that they play in, so it's not a team that you can go in thinking you're going to get the win. You got to have a good game. I'm excited for that game.
All right, week 3 in the season. It says week 4 in the game. That's just formatting for dynasties. But week 3 of the RFCL, Connecticut heads back to Jacksonville State. That is an old RFCL East matchup, but that is now a non-con. Central Arkansas heads to Central Oklahoma. Once again, a former RFCL West matchup. That is now a non-conference game. Lake Erie heads to Northwestern State. That is a staff that was really close between Coach Core, Coach John, and Coach Orff. Montana heads to App State. Blake gets a test on the road early in the season. Georgetown will head to Space Force, the Delta Dogs' first ever home game in the RFCL. And then the defending champs head to Upper Iowa to finish off week number 3.
Here's my takeaways, real quick. If Jordan Travis wasn't hurt and FSU was left out of the playoffs, it would 100% been because of strength of schedule. Jacksonville State will not have that issue. We play the Season 1 national champion, the Season 3 national champion, and then the Season 2 and 3 runner-up back-to-back-to-back weeks to start the season.
I mean, here's my look at it, man. You can just go ahead and chalk that up as an auto dub for UConn. 3-0 against Jacksonville State in everything. Never lost. Not even the closest to season 1. 4-0 actually. So chalk that up as an absolute dub.
Somebody clip that.
Yep.
Please do.
Connecticut at Jacksonville State will 100% be streamed week 3 now. So, Blake.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Yeah, definitely. Week 3 is going to be a test to find out what kind of team we are early on. You know, playing a very solid, probably one of the most well-coached teams in the RFCL, best teams. So we'll find out what we're made of that week.
Dang. Sorry.
Oh, man. All right. Week 4 in the RFCL. Back to conference games. Central Oklahoma heads to Space Force in week number 4. Montana and Lake Erie face off as a conference game now. I think we need to release the names of these conferences as well because we did change them. Jacksonville State heads to Central Arkansas. That's a new conference matchup. Georgetown heads to Northwest Missouri State. They did play last season twice, and they split. App State heads to Northwestern State. Ironic that App State basically bought Northwestern State, and now they face off in a conference game. And then Connecticut heads to Upper Iowa, as that is now a new conference game as well.
I mean, look, my favorite thing on week, what is this? I don't even know.
4.
My favorite thing here is Georgetown versus Northwest Missouri State. I don't think it'll all necessarily be the biggest scoring game we've ever seen, but I think it'll be just an all-around good football game, which I'm really looking forward to.
All right, Gage.
Can you go back to it real quick? There was one game in particular I'm excited about. Montana and Lake Erie. I feel like that's 2 very even games, or 2 very even teams in that one. But just looking at it on paper, I think that one could be sleeper potential.
Blake?
Yeah, I have to agree with that. 2 unproven teams, one being has been in the playoffs before, the other one trying to make their statement, get in the playoffs. I think both teams are still trying to establish themselves in the league, and that'd be a good game to do that.
All right, week number 5 is going to be headlined by Central Oklahoma heading to Georgetown. This was a non-conference game last season. It continues this season in the final non-con week of Season 4. Space Force heads to Jacksonville State. So all the trash talk that Gage and Brock have been doing, someone will put up or shut up in that one. Northwestern State heads to Upper Iowa in week number 5. App State heads to Lake Erie. Northwest Missouri State heads to Montana, and Connecticut heads to Central Arkansas. So UCA gets both UConn and UCO out of conference.
The last time I played UCA was in the playoffs, and we won in a shootout game. It sucks for them, to be completely honest with you, but I'm excited to see what they can do this season. My favorite game right here is actually, I believe it'll be Central Oklahoma at Georgetown or Space Force at Gage at Jacksonville State, just to see what Space Force is able to do. If they get off hot with Jacksonville State's schedule, this could be a really big game coming in.
Is this conference?
No.
No, never mind.
Oh, beautiful.
No longer interested.
Look, like I said, I mean, our SOS is probably going to be top in the country. not only SOS,
I
but
can't
we
wait
play,
for it to be last.
I'm pretty sure we play like the best overall quarterbacks in the country as well in the first 5 weeks. Like 4 out of the 5 are on our schedule, so we got a challenge up ahead. Thankfully, Space Force will be a cakewalk. So,
Blake?
Jesus.
Actually, I've got to look at the schedule real quick. There was one that stood out to me, and that was the Central Oklahoma Georgetown team. You know, 2 pretty powerful teams in this league, 2 that I think will stay consistent. But that's really a game that I'm excited to see.
All right. Week number 6. The rest of these games will be conference games. Upper Iowa will head to Central Oklahoma in week number 6. Montana heads to Connecticut's Battle of Blake and Powers once again. Jacksonville State heads to Georgetown, rematch of the East Division title game from season number 3. Central Arkansas heads to Northwestern State. Northwest Missouri State heads to App State. That should be a fun defensive battle, as we saw in the round 1 of the season 3 playoffs. And Lake Erie heads to Space Force. A lot of well-known coaching staffs between those 2 teams.
Yeah, I mean, Montana at UConn is obviously my favorite game there. Little sister over there coming to our house, getting beat down. Love to see it. However, Lake Erie versus Space Force is my favorite just because Barat Chalk really led Lake Erie that year. I mean, they didn't do well, but he came out swinging. He got like 4 picks against UConn. He played well on defense. He dealt with a lot of crap. He was by himself all season long, and now he gets his get back at him. So that's my favorite game here, and I hope Space Force goes insane during that game.
yeah, a lot of good games on the slate for this one. Lake Erie, Space Force, UCA, Northwestern State. I think Upper Iowa at UCO could be a sleeper. I feel like they've always kind of been sneaky in some games. And then JSU at Georgetown. I mean, I'm excited to see what Viking has up his sleeve to where Georgetown just can't score offensively. Obviously, I watched it from the outside of the end last year, so I'm excited for that one.
Blake?
Montana and Connecticut obviously is going to, not just because it's the team that I'm on, but I think the rivalry, is what I'm excited about. Just that kind of game, 2 guys that really go at each other. But if you look at it, Northwest Missouri State and App State, 2 very similar teams, very strategic. That's going to be a good one to watch.
All right.
I've got to be honest, I don't know if we're streaming that one. But let's talk about that later. Let's move on.
All right, so we probably need to address this. When we made these conferences, Northwest Missouri State was not a champion. But that means App State, Georgetown, Northwestern State, and Jacksonville State are all in the same conference for season number 4.
Y'all got it?
Yeah, so you guys enjoy that one. We tried to even conferences, and they seem to stay the same. Week number...
I don't know. Me and you are in it. So
week number 7 in the RFCL. Montana heads to Central Oklahoma. Upper Iowa heads to Space Force. Northwestern State heads to Northwest Missouri State. Georgetown at Central Arkansas. Jacksonville State at App State, and Connecticut at Lake Erie.
yeah, I mean, I'm seeing 0-8 here for Montana, but when we get down to it, I think what interests me is not having to say Northwestern State versus Northwest Missouri State on stream. I think that'll be a terrible thing, and everyone will get it messed up.
So what we're
many
going to do,
times.
we're going to make you stream that now that you said that.
Yeah, make me do something. Huh? Anyways, this ending of the schedule, it really all depends on how people play during the season. Nothing really interests me for this week, but coming into this week, someone could have an insane run, and we could have the best game we've seen.
Gage.
Never lost to App State. Ain't about to start now.
Never mind. What doesn't interest me?
Blake.
Yeah, definitely going to be a stomp down over at Central Oklahoma by Montana. But, looking at the rest of the schedule, Jacksonville and App State is going to be a fact. JSU has never lost to App State. Can they?
That's great, Blake. I just want to remind you, season 1 semifinals, 39-35, Blue 18-point lead with 6 minutes to go. We're going to move on to week number 8. And what I tried to do, tried to make a another rivalry week with conference games. So we're going to start it off with Central Oklahoma at Connecticut, week number 8, final game of the season, final game of the regular season. Lake Erie will head to Upper Iowa as they close out their season. Central Oklahoma heads to Northwest Missouri State, which means they drew Georgetown, Northwest Missouri State, App State, UCO, and Connecticut all in the same season. Northwestern State heads to Jacksonville State. App State heads to Georgetown. And Space Force heads to Montana to finish off the regular season.
Yeah, I mean, this might be the week that we have to stream everything based off of playoff scenarios. If you come to me with playoffs on the line, that'll be the most insane game ever seen. The ending of the season is going to be great. I like every single game except for the last one. I think Space Force rolls it. But other than that, we're looking good, man. The last week of the season is going to be the best.
Gage.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to playing these expansion teams. I'll play both of them this year. I feel really good going into our schedule. Like I said, I want to see how these new teams play. I'm excited about it.
Blake?
Yeah, I think it was a great job by you guys doing the schedule. Speaking for myself here at Montana, I think that'll be a game. Space Force. No one really knows anything about them, but hopefully by the end of the year, an idea. But shout out to my new DC, Zeke, the one and only Mr. Sleep on You. Excited to see what he's going to do at Montana. I get to return the OG Jet and bring Kepler back. It's going to be a fun little reunion. But it's going to be a fun season, guys.
Any final thoughts? We don't. Oh, I need to pull something up. You guys have any final thoughts while I get what's something I need to be pulled up? Gage, where's that link?
Just is going to be a great season, man. I mean, looking at the end. Yeah, looking at the end, it's going to come down to a lot of these games being playoff scenarios. We're not going up in playoff teams. We're going to stay where we're at. So there's a lot of fighting going on, and we'll see what happens.
All right. As was announced earlier today, we do have a shirt coming out that has all 12 teams on it. Here is the front of it. Pretty simple. Has Coaches League Season 4. The back. Why is that not? There we go. There's the back of it. Has all 12 teams on there with their nicknames and full team names. And there's something else. There's a full picture of the back that you can see. I think that's available now. Gage would have to confirm that, but yeah.
Listen, I've already bought one. It's already on the way to my house. I'm a huge fan of it. It looks fantastic. I'm not sure I can wear it outside my house in many professional areas because it says Cox on it twice. But it looks really good. I'm a big fan. It's already on the way, I think. I don't know. I already bought it.
Yeah, not exactly on the way yet because it was bought 12 hours ago. We'll get it through ASAP. So, yeah, all the profits are going to buy trophies for Coach of the Year, Coordinator of the Year, the champions, all that good stuff. So, it's for a good cause.
Guys, Storm will be changed to green.
Yeah.
Talk about it in chat.
Technically. Yeah, that's all I got.
I don't think we got anything else. It's been about an hour. Actually, it has been an hour. So, yeah, we have one last team to do cutting the players. One of those happens to be in the call with us right now.
So we can get that done right after this.
Yeah, and then after that, it's preseason. And I'll get everything set up for recruiting, and we'll get that taken care of. And
season will start. We'll start January the 15th, and then we'll get stream schedule out. Well, I guess we need to figure out who's playing on what day.
Yeah.
Which one will be streamed.
So, yeah, I know the 15th seems like a while when we're going to preseason, but there's a lot of stuff we have to do behind the scenes to get ready for it. We got the schedule ready, but times, dates, who's being streamed, who's not, how we're cutting up the highlights. It's a lot of conversations still need to go in, including quarterback accuracy. So a lot of the stuff that still needs to happen before the season starts.
Yep. That being said,
That's it.
Yeah, that's all we got. Appreciate y'all for watching, and we'll see you in a couple weeks for the start of season 4.